So when we experience these challenges with our emotions, it can even be a broken relationship, a broken heart. It still has the same impact. It messes with your ability to think, you worry, right? All of that. And so I want to talk to you about, well, how does it impact us, right? And how can we get through that, right? Because it ain't easy. Depression is real. How many of you ever experienced depression, right? And people tell you, oh, do something you like to do. Oh, they give you these quick fix activities and don't realize it's deeper than that, right? Depression is much deeper than that. You can't just snap out of it, right? When we're anxious, we're always worried, and it's not always easy to turn off, right? Because we're looking for some type of solution to what we're experiencing. And the solution is not always around the corner, y'all. It may take years, right? So let's ponder on that for a moment. So if our emotional wellness is our ability to understand our emotions, and our mental wellness is our ability to think and to process what we are feeling and experiencing, it goes hand in hand, right? So what we're feeling, oh, come on, Mike. Microphone. So what we're experiencing has a definite impact on our ability and capacity to think and to process. I don't know about you, but there were times when I was diagnosed with a cancer and then HIV, I got really depressed to the point where I was suicidal. And there was nothing no one can say to help get me out of it. It was scary, right? And I'm sure for many of you, you may have experienced some similar fear around treatment or going through treatment, right? Because you don't have any control over it. So you feel a bit helpless, right? So I'm going to call this little talk, Breathe. Say it with me, breathe. Come on, y'all, breathe. Breathing is important. In fact, it is a matter of life or death, right? We need our breath to exist. If we stop breathing, what happens? Right. So breathing is actually important in our process as we work through our emotions and managing our own mental health, right? I'm going to practice this breathing thing to hone in on this message. So get them horns out. So, everybody got a horn, right? And for those of you who opted not to have a horn, that's fine, but I want you to observe what's happening, okay? Because I'm going to ask you what you saw and experienced when everybody was blowing the horn. All right? All right. So I'm about to give you some instructions. I want you to blow the horn with one breath. And you, not yet. And you have to keep blowing the horn until I say stop. Meaning one breath. You can't take another breath to keep blowing. One breath. Right? And blow until I say stop. Observers, I want you to observe. Y'all ready? You got your breath ready? Let's go. Breathe it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. What's happening? Y'all got what happened? The whistle wasn't working? So, there was a trick question. I understand that y'all couldn't just keep blowing the horn until I say stop. That's unrealistic, right? But think about life. We go in full steam, and we run out of steam. And sometimes we try to keep pushing even though we're out of breath. And we look like this. You hold your breath, right? That may be like suffering in silence because you don't want help to help or you're embarrassed or ashamed. When you're losing steam in your breath, depression creeps in quickly. I don't know how to get out of this. I'd probably be better off not here. I don't want to feel like I'm unable or incapable, right? When we run out of breath, we in the midst of in our head like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, how I'm gonna solve this. And we just making matters worse because we ain't breathing. Let me tie this in for y'all, right? What happens when you take a deep breath? It feels good, don't it? When you take that deep breath. So let's pause there for a moment on that deep breath. Observers, Where my observers at who didn't have the whistles? What did you think about what just happened with the blowing of the horns? What did you experience? Breathing? What about it? Any others? Anybody else who didn't have a horn? What did you observe? It lasted 2 seconds?
Well, I observed that some people were able to breathe longer than others. So some stopped quickly and some took longer.
Any other thoughts, observers?
It won't last long.
You won't last long. Any other thoughts? Was it noisy? Was it noisy? A little bit? The reason why I asked that, right? Think about your situation or your family situation or things you may have experienced in life, right? We're trying to breathe our way through it and sometimes we lose steam. And the noises of life is a distraction. The noises of life don't make it better sometimes. In fact, it may cause you more stress, right? The noises of life sometimes make you want to shut down and just withdraw so you can find some peace. Because the noise of life, when you lose your breath and you have no more steam left, it's hard to function. And mentally, you're a mess. But you know what we do as women, right? We put on that mask, figuratively speaking, the mask, and we hide behind it, and we smile, and we walk like nothing's wrong, and we'll greet and interact like everything's great. But when you get home behind closed doors, you're bleeding out, meaning you're crying, you're sad. You don't know how you're going to make it. Some of us don't know how we're going to make it till the next day. How I'm going to do this. But the next day you put that mask on and we function. And sometimes we have to wear that mask, right? Because it's protection, because stuff is just too much to handle. But at some point, that mask gets a little too small. It don't fit right no more. So then we know we need some support. So then we have to learn how to breathe. So that deep breath I told y'all to ponder on for a moment. When we take our deep breath in life, deep breathing, right? And metaphorically speaking about breathing, it allows you to be in the moment. When you give yourself a deep breath and exhale, there's some sense of relief. Now, it's not going to solve your problems, but if I'm breathing, are we breathing in here? That means I got another day. I don't have that breath. We ain't living. So if we're breathing, we have another chance to get it right, or to find solution, or to seek help. If we're breathing, we're giving ourselves permission to say, you know what? It's okay to not be okay. And I'm gonna get through this. It may not feel like it. I don't know how. Breathing allows you to also reach to your higher power, whomever that may be. For me, it's Jesus. Somebody else may be Allah. Whatever your spiritual preference may be, we tend to reach into that while we breathe, because life can be that difficult and heavy, right? When we're breathing, it's helping us also to function in a way that, okay, I'm here another day. I thought I was going to make it yesterday, but here I am. So now I can ask for some support, or I can see things differently, right? So breathing is healthy. And breathing allows you on some level to let some stuff go. Like, I realize I can't control the outcomes. I don't know about you, because I can be a bit controlling, y'all. I like things my way. Am I by myself in that? Anybody else like things their way? Now, I know things can always go my way. I darn sure try them, right? But in life, we have to learn sometimes to let some stuff go and breathe. Because when we don't, we stress ourselves out. And we look like this again. Because we're holding our breath. We're not breathing. We have to breathe, y'all. Breathe our way through it, right? When you breathe, it really helps you to do something different. You think like, okay, I don't know about you, but there are these days I'm like, I just don't feel like getting out of bed today because I'm not with it, or I'm not feeling my best. I may sit and cry, y'all. I'll sit and cry. I'm like, Lord, today's gonna be a day, but we're gonna make this work. And however that looks for you is how it looks for you. And when we breathe, oftentimes, we have to remember, we're not gonna breathe like our sister. We're not gonna breathe like our mama or whomever. You're gonna breathe the way you breathe. You're gonna make it work the way it works for you. So don't compare yourself to how other people are getting through and appear to be well. Because that's not your story. Your story is your story, right? So you're gonna make it work best for you. And that speaks to like balance, right? You ever hear that word? We gotta find balance. In COVID, we gotta make work-life balance. I'm like, what the heck is the balance? Because I don't feel balanced. There's a lot happening, and I'm doing a whole lot. What does that look like? But I've learned over the years, it looks the way you make it work for you. So you make the intentional effort to do something different, right? For example, we talk about our emotional awareness or wellness and the mental wellness, right? You have to be intentional with your own self-care. Because if you don't do nothing about it, change is not going to happen. But they say, nothing changes if nothing changes. So we can't continue to complain about something if we're not willing to work on it. So we have to be intentional with our self-care to make sure we continue to be aware and attuned to our own emotional wellness. We have to be intentional in our self-care to improve the way our mental capacity is working and functioning in all other areas of life, even your physical wellness. I'll say this, because I want to get into Ms. Pam still, but the physical wellness is also important because sometimes we don't do a good job of taking care of ourselves. We'll say self-care is, oh, I'm going to get my nails and my feet done. I'm going to get my hair done. That's part of it, but self-care also means I'm going to go to the doctors when I need to go to the doctors. I'm going to take care of my health. I'm going to get that mammogram. I'm going to go to that GYN, right? I'm going to get my eyes checked out. That's also part of your wellness. I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. I don't know about you. I can be at work and won't eat. I'll be like, oh, I ain't had lunch today. Or those days when you can feel your belly rubbing your back. I wasn't practicing good self-care, right? If I'm tired, rest. That's also part of your self-care. But it also helps contribute to your emotional and mental well-being. So breathe, right? So we have to get in the practice of breathing, right? So let's do that together. Let's sit up straight. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe. How that? Right? That felt good, right? So we got to be intentional in practicing that, right? So I challenge you all, right? When you go home, you ever hear that saying, I'm going to set some intentions today? I just figured that's just no more than saying I'm going to set some goals for myself. But we're going to be intentional with what we're going to do in our day. Sometimes that may mean get up earlier. Maybe, you like to stretch just to, get the blood moving. Or maybe it's just sitting there and doing some breathing exercises. Or maybe it's prayer or meditation for yourself to get you in the right state of mind to conquer your day. Or maybe in between your day, like I have a timer on my phone at noon. It's this app called Calm. And I have it set, and I'll get a reminder, and I'll read one of the affirmations, and I'll give myself a moment to breathe and reflect on that. You can create your own activities that you choose to do to improve or enhance your state of emotional being and your wellness and mental wellness, right? But you have to be intentional. You are responsible for your health. They say your health is your wealth, right? What else they say, health is your wealth, or some other saying, but that's the truth, because if you're not well, you're not going to be well, right? So ladies, breathe, all right? Your life is important. You are a priority, right? So act like you're a priority and breathe. Listen, it's important to, if you're not comfortable with the therapist that you have, it's okay to seek different therapists. Sometimes some therapists aren't a good fit, right? So it's okay to seek a different person who maybe even specialize in grief, because what you're experiencing is a form of grief and loss, right? Which is tied into your trauma of that experience of cancer and having several diagnoses of that, right? And actually, the anger that you're experiencing is a part of the grief and the loss, right? So what you're feeling isn't uncommon. It absolutely is very common and normal. You're grieving something that was dear to you. And of course you're angry, because now life looks different for you. Now you have to make meaning and make sense of all of this. And it's scary, right? So know that your grief is your grief and is your time in terms of how you get through that. Don't let folks rush you through that process, because you're the one experiencing it, but you have to plug into some supports and a therapist to process that.